Hi, welcome to your reading. My name is Shemin. I'm an intuitive channeling tarot reader. So what that means is, with your permission, I would like to connect to your energy, drop into the reading headspace, and give you a reading directly from your higher self. And so today's reading is going to be just what the next week holds for you. So exactly 1 week from today, when you are watching this video, what the next 7 days hold for you and what kind of themes they are going to try to teach you, themes you're going to be going through. I tend to be a little bit more spiritually focused when I do my readings, rather than focusing on the mundane. But of course, if those cards come up, those cards come up. But I always try to get the ultimate kind of soul lesson or reason behind why we're experiencing what we're experiencing. And I feel like tarot and oracle are just such wonderful vehicles for getting those messages across. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say a connection and disconnection mantra for each of these piles. So when you pick your pile, or if you pick multiple piles, please watch that beginning mantra for the connections. That way I am connecting to your energy as a part of this reading. And then when you are done with it, say the one at the end, which is the closing mantra, which will help me disconnect from your energy, as well as you disconnect from my energy and the energy of the reading. So there's no kind of lingering carryover from it. If you are new to pick a card readings, you can pick from just one of these piles and listen all the way through, or if your intuition is calling you to a couple of different piles, you can sit and watch all of those or just parts of it as you are called to do so. Because multiple people will watch these videos, there will be kind of messages that may be scattered throughout, meant just for you. You can kind of piece them together like your own little puzzle. I'm just here to read what the cards have to say today. Your intuition also plays a part in you receiving the messages. But if something doesn't resonate, let it be. That is just meant for somebody else, and it is, you don't have to get hung up about it, because I know I do that sometimes. So without further ado, we are going to go ahead and get started with pile number 1. So pile number 1, I'm going to do your connection mantra. So if you would, go ahead and take a deep breath in and long breath out through the mouth with me. I am stepping aside. I'm connecting to my higher self, which is connecting to your higher self. All of your spirit guides, benevolent beings, spirit, and entourage on the other side of the veil. Any messages that need to come through will come through, as I remind myself that I am just the messenger. Alright, so before we get into the main cards, for pile 1, the card that was on the bottom of the deck was the Two of Swords in reverse. So there's a little bit of indecision happening here, where I feel like you need to make a choice or a decision, and your intuition is kind of pulling you in one direction over the other, but because you can't see the outcome of where this is going to go, it makes it a little bit difficult to know what decision it is, or what decision is going to be best for you. With this card being in reverse, though, I think your higher self is saying that you're getting a little too hung up on this energy of indecision, where they're wanting you to take to make this decision moving forward, and something about the themes during this week will kind of make that a little bit more apparent for you. So I'm going to put this down here at the bottom, and let's go ahead and start with this first row. Let me see if I can get them all to fit. Okay, so for tomorrow, so immediately after watching this video, this is what tomorrow is going to bring for you. You've got the Justice card in reverse, with the Death card upright. So 2 major arcana cards here. So tomorrow is definitely going to be a very significant day for you. There's the Justice card in reverse with the Death card. So this is an oracle card, not a tarot card, but Death is one of the major arcana cards that is in the tarot deck. And particularly the Justice card is number 11, and then the Death card is number 13, I want to say. So kind of the thing that's in the middle here between the two is the Hanged Man, which would be number 12. So it's kind of with the Justice card being in reverse, I feel like there's something that's going to happen tomorrow that's going to feel a little bit unfair, or maybe something isn't going to quite work out in the way that you want it to, or there may even be some legal stuff come up for some people. If it is, it may not be anything major. It could just be a little fee or tax something, just kind of comes up, and it's just something you have to deal with. With the Death card being upright underneath it, I feel like this kind of injustice, or whatever this situation is really going to bring about a kind of like dramatic shift or change within you, where it's like, maybe if this is a little like legal or technicality kind of type thing, where it's like maybe you didn't turn in some paperwork or a report or something like when you were supposed to, and because of that, it's like, you know, you got the consequences of your actions, which were a little bit negative. And through that, you know, you make the decision where it's like, okay, well, that sucked, I didn't get credit for that, or my boss was mad at me, or, you know, just if there were more severe consequences, you know, that's a little not fun either. But it's like there is going to be some big change that happens, so you can kind of protect yourself from whatever this is, and you can also just like move forward with kind of like a refreshed attitude from it. It's like the hidden card between these two is that Hanged Man, which is about changing your perspective, and through that kind of like aha moment that happens during that perspective shift, that's the thing that kind of allows for this transformation in the card afterwards. And particularly with the, again, just like Hanged Man that I am seeing being here, it's like particularly it can be about trying to see things from the other perspective. So it's like that can maybe be why this situation feels a little bit unfair to you, is maybe you weren't seeing it from both sides of the story, like, you know, what the other person was experiencing, and maybe through this action there actually will be a cosmic sense of justice that happens. It just maybe doesn't necessarily feel that way to you in the moment. The next card that we have here is the Fool, clarified by anger in reverse. Okay, so I feel like there's definitely some acceptance that'll happen here. So the Fool card is about a brand new beginning. It's like this inception of a path where you know there's kind of something that you want to grow into or journey towards, or a skill you want to learn or develop, and it's like the Fool card is just knowing that there is more out there for you to explore. With the anger card being in reverse, I feel like it's like kind of whatever this is here. You know, I really am feeling like this won't be too bad, so don't get so fear-based or hung up on that. Like, I totally get it. You know, it sounded a little scary coming out of my mouth too. But with the anger card being in reverse, it's like I feel like you're not going to be mad about whatever this is. Like, I feel like it may, you know, after you give it a bit to settle and you go through this kind of like shift or transformation, I think that'll allow you to move forward with this kind of acceptance that happens. And I feel like you'll have a pretty like at ease day here, where it's like you can sit very comfortably in whatever it is that you are feeling. Some people may even be trying to like avoid feeling angry about this, but I really do feel like for most there is going to be a profound kind of like sense of peace. All right, so the day after that, we've got the Six of Swords. So Six of Swords is about kind of like moving from one body of land, so one kind of like established thing, to another, and it's like you're journeying towards something without necessarily knowing exactly where it is you're going to be going. So with the Six of Swords, I really feel like you're going to be taking some action here with the Fool card, and that's going to be continuing into the next day. The Six of Swords is in the Suit of Swords, so that is a little bit more of a mentally activating thing. So I feel like it's like, even if you're not taking physical, tangible actions, I really do feel like you're going to be sorting some stuff out mentally this day and kind of moving from one beach of understanding into the next. So it's like you've crossed through the water, which is the emotion. So it's like by feeling all of the things that you are feeling when this does come up, and just again mentally kind of trying to process through it. This isn't over analyzing your emotions, because again you're still going through them, but it's putting the kind of like proper thoughts to them in order to kind of like be able to accept them. So it's again thinking through it and processing through it, rather than maybe just kind of like shoving it underneath the rug. The clarifying card for it here, the Oracle card, is Determination in reverse. It's like determination is about, you know, as the guidebook says, like having the energy required and kind of like oomph and chutzpah in order to like get to your goals. With it being in reverse here, I feel like it's like, you know, a little bit of sorrow that comes with this. There's usually like the tear going down the Six of Swords' woman's face. But I feel like it's like, rather than this being kind of like a goal-oriented type thing, I really do feel like this is going to be more of like a processing type thing, where it's like it may give you a sense of direction, but it's like there really is not going to be that like tangible fire here today, especially with that anger card being in reverse. Like I feel like with this kind of acceptance, it's more of like an internal kind of like yin energy rather than that outward like yang energy. So for the next card here, we've got the Knight of Swords in reverse. So the Knight of Swords upright is about, again, mentally moving forward on things. With it being in reverse, yeah, there's a little bit of not quite stagnancy, I would say, but like lingering on the thoughts that do arise. So I really do feel like, again, there is a big thing that's going to be happening tomorrow for you guys. And it's like with the mystery card being here, it's like I really do feel like you are going to be having something to kind of like ponder over here. Somebody could be giving you some like good advice too, which could be a good thing to just kind of like integrate and start to accept. With the Justice card being over here, it's like it doesn't necessarily have to be like a bad thing per se. It's like sometimes there can be these little like subtle things where it's like, oh, I felt like this should have worked out, or I felt like, you know, everything was kind of going okay with this, but, you know, sometimes there's like a new opportunity presented because you didn't get this thing that you thought was coming to you. So I feel like it's like there's going to be some newness introduced here. That's like there's a little bit of an integration period here, and it's like even here with the Knight of Cups being in reverse, there's two knights in reverse right next to each other, and it's like that's kind of like it's like this energy that wants to move forward being held back just a little bit, I think, in order to kind of like accumulate some more oomph or energy behind it before it is allowed to fully progress and move forward. Mystery card here, again, just a lot of contemplation, especially because this is a sword card again, so it's like major you know, like swords, so mental energy, and then it transitions into the cups here for a little bit. So it's like the same knight energy, and it's like you see how these are like looking forward to this direction, and then it's like this Knight of Cups is looking back, and then even this sword card has a lot of that water there. I really do feel like there's going to be this emotional and mental processing loop that happens, which I feel like even for some people, and this came up in one of the other readings that I did for TikTok, I think I want to say, it's like sometimes we can have a tendency to try to avoid our feelings, and I feel like there may be a situation that comes up where it's like you can't necessarily avoid how you're feeling about it any longer. And so with the Knight of Cups card in reverse and the Hunger card in reverse. So the Hunger card here is about like what you're longing for and hungry for. It's like those things that you're wanting to experience more and more of. With this card being in reverse here, I feel like it could be that it's like you maybe aren't quite sure how to feel about this situation here, and so you're not even really quite sure what your sense of drive is, which could be why both of these knights are in reverse, where it's like something about how you were moving forward may be shaken up a little bit. And so again, there is just like that processing and coming to an understanding that I think does happen the next day. So this will be 6 days out from today with the King of Swords upright. The King of Swords is like the full master of his mental state. He is able to kind of like think his thoughts, be aware of his thoughts, and kind of understanding why they're coming up, or just kind of like, you know, allowing them to go all the way through to completion. So it's like he's allowing himself to think what his mind is wanting him to think, and through that he receives these kind of like little bits of intellect, wisdom, and understanding, and he's able to just kind of like lead effectively and also communicate very effectively as well. The clarifying card for this is Energy in reverse, which is very interesting. So the energy card in this deck is about being aware of the kind of like energy that you're cultivating, and that could even be the thing that you're kind of mentally processing through or figuring out, is like maybe something that happened here demonstrated that you weren't necessarily cultivating the energy that you were trying to cultivate. And so when it comes to over here and you go through all of these processes here, you're kind of, you know, I think you'll mentally understand this, and I think it'll give you a sense of direction of what to do moving forward as well. The very last card that we have here is the Seven of Swords with the Balance card. So Seven of Swords, it's actually interesting. I pulled this card for my Instagram this morning, and I pulled it from a Japanese deck that I have because I, the reader here, am trying to learn to speak Japanese and eventually become a translator. I would like to translate some like Reiki and energy books, which I think would be cool. But I have a Japanese deck and all of it's written in Japanese, and I don't really know all of the kanji that are in it yet because I am still learning and it is a lot to memorize. And so I made it a point to look up what the Japanese book was saying about the Seven of Swords so I could read a little bit more from like that deck's particular energy and what it was trying to convey, rather than just what I know about tarot in general, because I do feel like different decks hold slightly different energy to them. And one of the things that it said was that it's about kind of like this, it's a positive card, which I feel like sometimes people will read this as kind of like a sneaky negative card. And one of the words that it said was reconciliation, which I thought was really interesting. And obviously that's a translation of it, but it was from like the Japanese dictionary. So I trusted a little more than Google Translate. And I don't know, I kind of feel like it's like there's this like, it's like, so with the Seven of Swords, it's like there's this scene where it's like there's this battle happening in the background, and this person goes behind enemy lines and like steals their swords, that way they don't have them the next day for the fight, and that person gets the advantage. It's almost like with the injustice that happened here, and kind of with the more positive way that I'm feeling to read this card, just because I read it in a different way than I usually do from my Instagram this morning. I feel like it's like there's going to be some injustice that happens here, but it's going to be reconciled on this 7th day over here. And it's even like 7th day, Seven of Swords. That's really cool. And the balance card underneath it is also to me talking about kind of harmony or something restored over here. So there is again going to be a lot of mental processing that happens here, but I feel like by the end of the week you're going to be able to come to terms with this thing and really just feel more at peace or at ease with it. And so let's go ahead and get your oracle cards. All right, so we've got the initiation in reverse, so rite of passage, crossing the threshold. So with the initiation card in reverse, I feel like kind of whatever it is that it talked about here, I really do feel like even though it's going to inspire a big shift for you, I feel like it's going to be more positive, where it's not going to feel like a tower moment is what I'm feeling. I feel like it'll be a little bit easier, where it's not going to be anything major, but it's just going to be something that has a big impact on you. The other card is no, so wait, postpone, pause, and say no. So I feel like there's kind of like, I don't know, almost like a little bit of doom and gloom where I was feeling like, oh no, this is going to be so terrible, and then it's just like, you know, coming to terms with it. To me, the no is really saying that this is not going to be so bad. It's just because I like to read the cards a little bit deeper, some of the stuff sounds a little bit deeper when it comes across. But especially because this is such a short time frame, I feel like this could even be just like a small thing where it's maybe like, you know, one of your friends does something that's maybe not quite the way that you would like to be treated, or you're spoken to in a way that's a little bit harsher than maybe it is intended. And then you go through a slight little healing process where it's like, rather than getting angry to it, you respond, moving away from your initial response to a slightly more healthy one before you kind of confront and talk to this person, and then it's like there's a better sense of balance restored here, and that reconciliation that this card mentions specifically by word on the 7th day. So it's like giving it a week to process through it, as well as like with the no card, it's like not being afraid to establish your boundaries as well. So it's like if you do need to say no, and maybe that's one of the, I guess not like quite initiatory things that happens here, but it's like maybe somebody is offering you something that it's going to be your job to say no to because this thing isn't aligned with you, and it would make you feel out of balance, and there's some growth that happens by saying no to it. The other card is Unbound, so releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. So particularly for this week, it could be that it's like the thing you're saying no to and the initiation that you're avoiding is kind of like an initiation back into an old cycle or a pattern, where it's like allowing the same opportunities or the same patterns to kind of just like come back up for you. And it's like this one with that Six of Swords, it's like moving away towards something else. So there really is going to be a big mental shift that happens here. And I think it's like you'll come to understand that here on the 6th day with the King of Swords, and then that'll manifest into this reconciliation that happens on the last day with that balance card. So it's like you'll go through a shift, but you'll feel kind of like at ease with it by the end of this transition. All right, so before I close it out, if you liked either of these two decks that I used, these are both available on my website. I'm working on getting this third one on there. but keep checking back. I'll update it as I do. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to go ahead and say my closing mantra, and I wish you guys so much love, luck, and success as you move through this next week. So let's go ahead and take another deep breath together. Thank you so much, pile number 1. Thank you for allowing me to connect to you and your personal energy today. I am now disconnecting from you, your spirit guides, benevolent beings, and entourage on the other side of the veil, and sending you all back with love as I reconnect to my own higher self, spirit guides, and team, settle on down into the physical, and close out the reading. And so it is. Hello, pile 2. Welcome to your reading. I'm going to go ahead and do your connection mantra. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath in together, in through the nose and out through the mouth. I'm stepping aside. I'm connecting to my higher self, which is connecting to you, to your higher self, all of your benevolent beings, spirit guides, and entourage on the other side of the veil. Any messages that need to come through will come through as I remind myself that I am just the messenger. All right, so let's see what's in store for you this next week. Oops. Alright, so before I get into these cards here, I want to talk about the card that was on the bottom of the deck when I pulled your main cards. So this one is Rest, upright. So it's interesting that a lot of your cards are in reverse here, except for these two, Movement and then Magic. And again, it's like the Rest card is upright, so I really feel like there's going to be a pull to be doing a lot this week, but your higher self is really wanting you to take some time to like rest, recuperate, and like recharge your own personal energy before you kind of start moving into what the next things are that you feel like you're meant to do. And so this will be a week from today, so this will be tomorrow, next day, all the way until a week from today. So the first card that we have here is Growth in reverse, but the clarifying card is the Sun card upright. So it's interesting that it's like growth in reverse with the Sun card upright, because it's like, you know, in order to grow, you need the sun. And so kind of the thing that I'm feeling, oh, so one more thing. So when I was shuffling the cards for this pile, I started feeling a lot of anxiety. So I feel like for a lot of you, like, you know, the people who are watching pile number 2, I feel like you may be a little bit of an anxious person in general. And so kind of, I think with the Rest card being here, it's like, if you can, with the intention this week, try to set an intention on soothing that general sense of anxiety. So when we have anxiety, there's this general sense of like fear, I would say, fear of being judged, fear of our physical safety if you grew up in like, you know, an abusive environment at any point in time in your life. There's a lot of things that can cause anxiety, and if we can kind of sit with the feeling enough, we can sometimes feel into what that core memory or wound or trauma is that started that anxiety, and we can start to heal and process through it. And so with the Growth card being in reverse here and the Sun card being upright, I really feel like there's kind of more so a focus to sit with your own personal energy rather than feeling like you have to change your energy. I feel like that could be a big thing for kind of like the source of your anxiety, is like feeling like you need to grow and you need to change and you need to be the best possible version of yourself, when your guides are wanting you to sit and be more comfortable with where you are now, your current sense of self-expression, and kind of what the energy that you can bring to the world around you. I think the more comfortable you can be with where you are now, the easier growth is going to be for you in the future, as well as just the more fun and like love there will be behind it. Where it's like, if you have some anxiety that you're bringing into self-betterment and growth, it's almost like you feel like you're lacking or you're not enough, and that's why you're doing it. Where it should be because you like love yourself so much that you want to see more of yourself kind of coming out. So really tomorrow, take a bit to sit with your energy and really like send a lot of love to the current expression of yourself that you have. I feel like that will make a lot of other things click into place, and you may even realize that you don't have nearly as much growing to do as you feel like you need to do. The next card that we have here is the Peace card in reverse with the Four of Swords upright. So Peace in reverse, again, it kind of makes sense with the anxiety that I picked up on. So it's like you may be feeling particularly anxious during this day. There actually is an anxiety card in this deck, and when I was shuffling for pile 3 and I don't know, started feeling anxious again, that anxiety card popped up over the pile 2 card. So it was kind of like keep all that anxiety talk and that energy in pile number 2. And so it could even be that there's a little bit of compartmentalizing that's happening here, which also kind of in a weird way makes sense with that Four of Swords, where you see how there's like these 3 swords here and then there's like this 4th sword kind of like laying underneath her. It's like you may be trying to do a lot of personal work or growing without actually addressing this kind of just general anxiety that's here, where it's like, I think I also have a little bit of anxiety, I totally get it, but it becomes so like involved and incorporated in just kind of like our ideal, like not even our idealized, but it's like our, like the version of ourselves that we see in our head. It's like we just kind of think of ourselves as anxious, and that makes it hard to achieve peace or even sometimes to quiet the mind, just because you feel like there's so many things that you have to be aware of and thinking about, when sometimes it's okay to just like take a deep breath. So for 2 days from now, try to take some time to quiet your mind and really just like try to feel at peace when maybe there is a lack of peace going on in the world around you. The next card that we have, so for day 3, we've got Love in reverse with the Chariot in reverse. So again, very interesting. So this is the first of the days where it's like both cards are in reverse. So I kind of feel like, for some people with the Love card being in reverse, it could be that there is a relationship that's ending, or maybe if you've been kind of like thinking about somebody for a while, there is a possibility that there may be a sense of rejection that happens today. Or definitely at the very least with the Chariot card being in reverse, it's like things not moving forward in the way that you want them to. So it could just be a little bit of stagnancy, which could also make sense with the Chariot in reverse, or even feeling like a lack of self-love too, where it's like, if you're anxious, and again, that really just is a big thing that I picked up on in the beginning shuffling for this one. I think that ultimately stems from a lack of self-love, which we talked about here with the Sun card. So it's like, it's sometimes hard to integrate things where it's like you have such a good moment one day, but then it's kind of like you fall back into these old patterns, and it's like there's a little bit of regression almost that happens. But regression isn't really regression. It's just kind of like, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And it's like, as long as you keep pushing forward, you keep making progress. So this may just be one of those step back days as it relates to self-love, or even sometimes if you're working through difficult things in a relationship, this could be a little bit of a step back in that as well, where it's falling back into old habits or routines. And there's going to have to be, again, that conscious choice to continue to move forward again, particularly, again, on the journey of self-love, which is always so difficult because we are always so mean to ourselves because other people have been mean to us before, and sometimes people don't always show their best colors, and so it can be hard to not internalize some of those harsher things that people say. So the next card that we have here is the Strength card. It's interesting that there's the Chariot in reverse with the Strength card also in reverse. So in the tarot deck, Strength is number 8, where Chariot is number 7. So it's, again, kind of like a slight progression that's happening here. Strength card is about overcoming an obstacle for the sake of leveling up a little bit, and there's part of the process involves kind of having to overcome an aspect of the ego, or training the ego to be just a little bit better. It's like this is in reverse, but this Ace of Wands is upright. So it's like, I feel like rather than, as you approach this week and maybe you're getting out of a little bit of a funk, maybe you're going through a little bit of depression, which I feel like goes a lot with anxiety sometimes. It's like we become so anxious or we think so poorly about ourselves that it inspires one or the other from whichever one you start with. It's like, rather than this being a thing that you kind of just have to suck it up and power through, your guides are really wanting you to try instead to focus on inviting in a sense of passion. It's like the Ace of Wands is all about this, like, you know, personal drive. It's like a new beginning, a new passion, a new fire that really just lights you up being handed to you. That I think will happen to you on this day. And it could be with the Strength card being in reverse. It's like, rather than finding this in something that you've already started or something that you've already been working on, I think this could be something entirely new that you do this day. So whether it be a new exercise, so it's like if you always do yoga, try some qigong, or if you always try journaling for self-care, maybe today's a day that you try doing a guided meditation instead. And it's like just trying something that's a little bit different, because maybe the way that things have been going before wasn't necessarily the way that was working out best for you, and there's a more optimal solution to your experience. Or kind of like, you know, there's a more optimal solution, optimal? There's a more optimal solution to just like the dilemma of self that you feel like you're having right now, which is more so about just acceptance, because, you know, there is no wrong way to be you. You know, it's like you are the only person who is you. You're doing the best that you can possibly be doing. So it's like, why there's like, you can't be doing anything wrong. You can do things that are out of alignment with you, but those aren't wrong per se. All they do is teach you what is and what is not for you. And it can be harmful sometimes when we force ourselves to continue to experience things that aren't in alignment with us. But again, it's not bad. It's like sometimes it just takes a little bit longer to learn what is and isn't for you. So give yourself a lot of grace today, but also allow yourself to experience something new. So, and through this newness comes this movement. So let's see. Yeah, 5 of Wands in reverse. So it's interesting. 4 Wands here, 5 of Wands in reverse here. For some people, I think there was an issue with a relationship that you will be working through that'll get a little bit of resolution here with this card by trying something new or inviting a little bit more passion back into the relationship. So with movement, it's like things progressing, things finally moving forward, especially after they felt a little bit stuck or stagnant. And the 5 of Wands in reverse is about avoiding conflict. So it's like, it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. It's like, particularly because I think there was like, you know, a tendency to fall back into old patterns around here. It's like the 5 of Wands could be choosing to avoid what you know would be a fight or what would be a conflict. It's moving away from this just like combative energy. And it could even be, again, combative energy towards yourself. So it's like if you were being so mean to yourself over here, this is movement towards being a little bit kinder towards yourself. And so beautifully, the next day we've got magic and the star card. Oh my gosh, yay! I love the star. The star is my all-time favorite card in the deck. I am planning on getting it tattooed on me at some point. The star is all about our kind of like divine destiny. And so for pile number 2, 6 days from now, there's going to be a little bit of magic, a little bit of synchronicity, a little bit of something that feels a little bit special in some way that happens, that brings you a little bit more in alignment with the truest version of you. And I love that it's like there's the star and the sun both showing up in this reading, because the star and the sun are both like luminaries in the sky, and they're also both stars. The star kind of talks about this more distant star that we're still kind of like moving towards and achieving, but it's like when we get the star card, there's this first little glimmer of hope. And then the sun is a star that is much closer to us. We can feel the heat and energy that radiates off of it. So it's a little bit more present and actualized here. I love the star though, because it is just like there's a huge sense of purpose, and it's like you get to the star after you go through the really heavy cards like Death and the Tower. And so it's like, I don't know, there's just like, it's like the silver lining after the storm, or it's like it's all like the daylight, the dawn after the very hard dusk. Or it's like the dawn breaking after a really hard night that you go through, like the dark night of the soul, especially because the previous cards are like black in background color, so they signify that darker energy that we pass through. But a lot of relief here. Relief is like the big word that I'm feeling. It's like after you went through this heavy energy, it's like things are finally gonna be working out good again for Okay, so the last card they have here is Success in reverse with the Page of Wands in reverse. So with this Magic card and the Star card here, I feel like for some people, it's like, even though there is this really awesome day that happens here, it's not going to mean that, boom, immediately everything starts working out. Like, oh my gosh, like, yes, poof, my anxiety is gone. I think it's like this is going to be a starting point, because even after you get to the Star, you have to get the Moon card, which is about a period of transition before you get to that full culmination of the Sun. And it's like, again, your sense of self-expression is still good and positive and you here. It's maybe just here it becomes a little bit more in alignment. But it's like, you know, with the Success card, I think there's this energy of 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Don't be hard on yourself if after this wonderful, awesome, amazing day here, you kind of fall back into maybe not feeling as great about yourself, or that anxiety comes back, or whatever it is that you're kind of working through. I think it's like Spirit really wants to get through to you to be kind to yourself, and just like allowing yourself to move forward in the ways that kind of like need to happen in that moment. Because again, particularly with this Rest card here, it's like there have to be these periods of integration as you're making progress, and it's like you can't have all this go 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 energy. It's like there has to be that yin, that reception that kind of takes its place. And that also makes sense with the Page of Wands being in reverse here. So it's like not taking action after this day, I think, is recommended, but really sitting and feeling into the things that you're feeling. Because the Page of Wands is kind of also about like taking a journey. It's like moving forward with something. And it's, again, Ace of Wands here. And, you know, the Page of Wands is holding the Ace of Wands. A lot of Wands, actually. Ace of Wands, 5 of Wands in reverse, and then Page of Wands in reverse. So definitely working on cultivating that inner sense of fire. I feel like it's like you'll have a really strong sense of fire here on this day, so in the middle of the week that is to come. And I feel like it's like you may feel bad that you can't always have access to that really inspired, awesome, just like way of feeling about things sometimes. But I feel like, again, it's a stepping stone, and even that longing for this energy again will bring you a little bit closer to it, because I feel like whatever it is that you discover here on this day will ultimately be a part of your grander sense of purpose, or what it is that you feel like you're here to do this particular lifetime. So let's go ahead and do your oracle cards. All right, so we got Council of Light, Divine Orchestration, Helpers in the Subtle Realm, Starseed, What Lights You Up, and Align Your Life, What is Not Aligned and Needs to Change. So this is a lot of what we were talking about for this week. So I really do feel like kind of right around here, this is where you're going to feel a little bit more in alignment. A lot of this stuff here is going to be showing you where you are out of alignment. Again, big transition here in the middle of the week as we move from this Ace of Wands upright into these like movement and magic cards here. But again, alignment is the key point of all of this. So with Council of Light and Starseed, I definitely feel like for a lot of you guys watching Pile 2, if you believe in the kind of like, you know, Starseed elements, or, you know, that there are people or there are beings that are living lives in other parts of our galaxy or the grand big cosmic universe, I do think one of the reasons why you may feel so anxious a lot of the time is because you may not have been here from this particular lifetime. You may have stemmed from somewhere else where things were ran or done just a little bit different from how they're done here. And so because it kind of goes counter to some of your expectations sometimes, there's this constant feeling of like doing something wrong, or, you know, just like not fitting in or something like that. And that could be a sense of where that anxiety comes from. And standing in your own power, aligning with your uniqueness and the things that do ultimately make you a little bit different, I think that will be one of the big keys towards just, you know, embracing more of yourself. And honestly, again, just kind of like overcoming this nervous energy, because again, you're not doing anything wrong. All you are doing is being you, and that is so awesome and unique and celebrated, and people are so happy that you're around and alive and are yourself. And sometimes it can just be scary when you feel I don't know, sometimes it can be scary when that sense of self has felt attacked in the past. But again, I do think there will be some healing that happens through that during this week, as long as you take some time to be a little introspective about it. I feel like if you were going to meditate any of these days on it and do like maybe a deeper guided meditation, getting a little bit deeper to the core of things, the day after tomorrow would be a really good day to do that. So that is what I have for you guys, pile number 2. If you liked this deck or this deck that I used, these are both available on my website currently. I'm working on getting this deck on there as well, so keep checking back. I may have that very soon. I'm going to go ahead and say my closing mantra, and again, if you like this video, please feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. That really helps the channel grow a lot. Let's go ahead and take another deep breath in together. Thank you so much, pile number 2. Thank you for allowing me to connect to you today and give you this reading from your higher self. I'm now disconnecting from you, your spirit guides, benevolent beings, and entourage, and sending you all back with love as I reconnect to my own higher self, spirit guides, and team, settle on down into the physical, and close out the reading. And so it is. Hello, pile 3. So to start this connection, let's go ahead and take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth together. I am stepping aside. I'm connecting to my higher self, which is connecting to your higher self, all of your spirit guides, benevolent beings, spirit, and entourage on the other side of the veil. Any messages that need to come through will come through as I remind myself that I am just the messenger. All right, so pile 3. When I was shuffling your guys' cards, I got this kind of overwhelming feeling of wanting to go deeper. So I feel like for you guys in pile 3, that's going to be what we're going to do, is we're really going to get into the kind of deeper, more soul, spiritual aspects in this reading, as much as I feel called to do so. And we're going to start yours a little bit differently than the other two. We're going to start with your oracle cards first. All right, so you've got Lemuria, Take a Break in reverse, and Imrama. So Lemuria is creating heaven on earth. It's happening. Take a break in reverse. A life's work, not a season. Get off the treadmill, but in reverse. And Imrama, where are you being called to journey to? So with Lemuria being here and with the kind of overall feeling of wanting to go deeper, I feel like for some of the people watching this, you could have even been on Lemuria when that was a part of Earth still. So if you're unfamiliar with the tale of Lemuria, it was an ancient city or civilization similar to Atlantis, but if Atlantis was more kind of technologically and more like masculine energy focused, Lemuria was more spiritual and feminine focused. And those are like yin and yang aspects rather than like gender, masculine and feminine. And so with this being here, it's like, I feel like for a lot of you people, you are more spiritually inclined, or you care a lot more about the kind of soul, spiritual nature of life than, you know, maybe some of the other people around you. And I think, not that it's a competition, but I think it's hard sometimes to find some of these deeper reaching things when that seems like that's not necessarily what everybody else is focusing on. And so that during this week, I think there is the potential for part of your personal practice to expand and reach a little bit deeper for you if you take the energy to do so. So with Take a Break in reverse, I really do feel like there is this sense of needing to take action, where it's like, you know, if you're wanting to grow, if you're wanting to have something happen, if you're wanting to create heaven on earth for yourself and make that happen, you're going to have to be willing to put a little bit of energy into it now. I'm seeing like the Magician card where he's holding the double-ended candle, so it's like burning the candle on both ends with discretion, you know. It's like, definitely do not allow yourself to get burnt out. But I think sometimes, and at least like for me personally, it's like I will want to work on something, but I'll kind of hold myself back a little bit because maybe I've just done something and I want to like space it out. For some reason, when I was in high school, it's like I used to always listen to like my favorite songs on repeat, and then one day I was just like, oh, I don't want to do that because I don't want to get tired of listening to the same song over and over and over again. So it's like I would really want to listen to a song, but I would tell myself like, no, I can't listen to that song right now. I'm gonna go and listen to this song instead, and then listen to this later, just so that way I still love that song, you know, and it doesn't get worn out for me. I think, you know, sometimes we can do that too with actions, where it's like we love doing something, but it's like for some reason we feel like we just can't do it as much as we want to, or we feel like we should take a break. where it's like, you know, maybe you're really getting into yoga and you love yoga. It's awesome. It makes you feel so cool. You finally tapped into the breath of the like expansion and contraction. And it's like, oh my God, you're just feeling yoga a lot more than usual. You know, you can do yoga a couple times a day. You don't have to like just hold back and just do it once, you know, or if you are wanting to do tarot readings, like you can do it multiple times a day. It doesn't have to be just like once. Or it doesn't have to be nearly as spaced out as you are making it be, or you don't have to take as many breaks from this activity as I think you maybe currently are. So the other card that we have here is Imrama, which is where are you being called to journey to? So, and also the card on the bottom of the deck, I forgot to talk about this, is answer the call. So what is your soul calling you to do? And I saw this and it's very similar to that Imrama card. And it, you know, just kind of all of these, it's like you are moving towards something, you know, it's like there's this sense of growth and this sense of like, it's like building. It's like, you know, I feel like when we're on our spiritual path, it's like they're kind of become these like culminations of peaks where it's like you're doing a little bit of kind of a couple of different things and then, oh my God, all of a sudden it's like they all come together and there's just so much like magic and synchronicity and like, wow, you know, it gets so crazy sometimes. I feel like your soul is kind of guiding you towards another one of those just like, wow, kind of type energies where it's like there's going to just be something that just like, oh my God, just clicks into place, and it will feel almost like if like there's been a machine and the cogs have been just like a little bit off from each other, but it's like, you know, it's still been going, it's still been fine. It's like, oh my God, it's just gonna click into place and they're just gonna turn so much freer and healthier, and it's like you're going to just feel a lot more aligned, and it's going to start from this just kind of inward pull towards where your own higher self and soul are trying to take you to. So that is what I have for you guys for your oracle cards. Let's go ahead and see what the details are going to be for this week. All right, so for tomorrow, we've got the Six of Pentacles for you. It's interesting, you've got the Six of Pentacles here and then the Six of Cups here as well. And then you have the Eight of Cups. It's like, I don't know why those three feel like they're going to be a little bit connected for me. Let's see, you've got 14, Hermit. Yeah, I feel like these are going to be a big focus of this week. So, okay, let's get the first clarifying card. So caution, so Six of Pentacles and caution. So it's really interesting. So for the, I think pile number 1, the first card that came up was the Justice card in reverse. So it's really interesting that we have the Six of Pentacles upright here because they're both holding a scale, which is about kind of balance and justice and order being restored. For pile 1, it was in reverse. So I feel like if you are here from pile 1, there's going to be a really fun distinction. So it's like the Six of Pentacles is about a kind of more like minor arcana aspect of balance being restored, where it's kind of like a financial or a physical like thing being given or you giving to someone else to kind of just achieve balance. So it's like if you asked for help, because the card that comes before the Six of Pentacles is the Five of Pentacles, which is about lack and loss and ill health sometimes. It's like in the things that you're needing, that you're recognizing in that lack with the Five of Pentacles, that's the thing that's given in the Six of Pentacles. So it's like, I feel like there will be kind of like, you know, something that is given to you on this day, but it may not be enough if you watched pile 1. For those of you who did not watch pile 1, sorry, I just had to do that little caveat there because that was a fun like synchronicity. I do feel like there is going to be something that is given to you on this day, but with the caution card, I feel like there could be kind of like an attachment to this maybe, or it's like there's going to be something but a catch, or somebody will be offering you something and it's like you have to choose kind of part of it but not all of it if you can. It could even be for some, again, I really feel like there is somebody here who's watching both pile 1 and pile 3. I feel like there is going to be a legal thing here, and you're going to have to be very cautious with how you're kind of like making your adjustments for it. So be careful with what is being offered to you today, but do take the things that you do feel like are going to be beneficial for you and feel confident and comfortable saying no if you do feel like you need to say no to part of it. Okay, so the next card, we've got the Eight of Cups upright with ideation in reverse. So Eight of Cups upright is about taking a journey. It's kind of more of an emotional journey where it's like really letting your emotions kind of like, you know, sitting with them, feeling all of them, being able to kind of sort them out and differentiate them a little bit. But it's like now that you've kind of seen all of the different things that you're feeling, there's something that you have to do in order to change that and maybe feel a little bit better about the things that you're feeling. With the moon being in the corner here, this is a symbol to, like, you know, there's a reference to the timing aspect behind it where there is going to be a shift and a transition. Just as the moon takes 28 days to wax and wane fully back into a complete cycle, there is something about this that is just going to take a little bit of time that your guides want you to be okay with. With ideation being in reverse, they really do want to, I think, get in that it's like this will be a like, this may not be fun per se. It could just be that there is something that comes up during the Eight of Cups where it's like, you know, with the kind of caution with this gift, it's like maybe even just unpacking. It's like, okay, well, what is it that I really want to do? It's like allowing your emotions to kind of move through you and move through the whole process with them to get to the Nine of Cups afterwards, which is all about self-satisfaction. Especially with the ideation in reverse, it's like really looking at the reality of the situation rather than what you would want for it to be in your head. And I feel like that will help with kind of like whatever this, you know, not so benevolent gift we'll say that's maybe being given to you that day. The next card that we have here is Temperance with Comfort in reverse. So Temperance is upright, Comfort is in reverse. So Temperance is all about kind of having to like pour from one cup into the other. So it's like having to pull back from one area of our life in order to be able to give to a different area of your life. With Comfort being in reverse and taking a break also being in reverse, I really do feel like some of you guys are going to have to step out of your comfort zone and really put forth some action on this day. So it's like whatever your emotions are telling you the day after tomorrow, it's like really integrating that and again pouring one emotion into this other thing that you're feeling over here too. So it really is taking from something and giving to another. With Comfort, and again with Comfort in reverse, I feel like this is going to be something that takes you out of your comfort zone, so it's causing you to expand your awareness a little bit, that third eye wide open on that Temperance card. And I think there will be like an intuitive knowing with this, but again, it is going to be something that you are going to have to take action on. So the next card that we have is the Ten of Wands in reverse with the Disruption card. So Ten of Wands, when it's upright, is about feeling overburdened and like you have too much on your plate. I really do feel like because you're going to take the like Temperance energy here, that's not going to like be the case, or you're not going to feel that way even if you are taking more action on this day. It's like you will feel just a little bit more at ease or in flow, which is interesting with the Disruption card here. It's like kind of more so what I'm feeling from this is it's like rather than you feeling a personal disruptance, it's like a disruption from the norm. So it's like really going through a process and a shift here and like really transitioning into a new phase of life or being, which I don't know, it's like even just though this is in reverse, it's like this looks very similar to the Temperance card where it's like, I don't know, it's like to me it's like some of the focuses on here are the two cups and then that foot in the water, so it's almost like doop doop doop, it's like doop 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 here, if that makes sense for some people out there. But again, I feel like there's going to be a disruption to the norm almost by this sense of ease that you're feeling, where it's like, wow, when I pull back and kind of just focus on this, it's like things actually kind of go a lot easier. And like, I don't know, there's going to be like, it's like, you see how it's like there's this kind of broken line here? It's like, I really do feel like you're going to be just like this middle line where it's like you're so used to things being disrupted that this is going to feel so easy and you're not going to be used to it almost. Okay. Yes. Okay. So we've got the Hanged Man and the Creativity card. Oh my god, I love this. I love that this is a light bulb. I like to commonly refer to the Hanged Man as like an aha moment. It's even related to like Hod on the Kabbalah or the Tree of Life, which like almost every single card that connects to it has this like aha moment behind it. And And so the Hanged Man is about seeing things from a different perspective, and it's like allowing energy to pass through from source all the way down to you into a manifested reality. And it's like it's something about like that process, or it's like allowing that energy to channel through you. It's like the Hanged Man also has a bit of patience involved with it, where it's like the myth behind this is Odin hanging himself from the world tree for 9 days and 9 nights. I have a tarot tip video, or a couple of tarot tip videos that go in depth about that I'll link down below. And it's like, he hangs from the world tree for 9 days and 9 nights. So it's like there is patience that's going to be asked of you here on this day. But it's like by being patient about it, it's like that will give you this inspiration or this idea to act on in the future days that will be a lot better for you. So again, it's like a big thing that I feel like tarot has me talk about a lot is like a balance of like yin and yang energies, where it's like I think we know about, the yin and yang, but it's like there really is like an active energy and a receptive energy that we have to be in balance on, where it's like when you do something, you have to sit back and see how you feel about it so you can make further action in the future. And then it's kind of a little bit more, there's a little bit more like thought that goes behind it because you've taken that little reflective period. It's like there will be action kind of like here and then a little bit of reflection. So it's like even though you're not taking a break, it could even be that while you're doing things, it's like you kind of just see it from a different perspective, and that allows you to like, it's like that's the lightning bolt moment where it's like things finally have manifested from an idea into reality, and it just like is this inspired moment. The next card that we have here is the Six of Cups upright with rejection in reverse. So Six of Cups is an energy from the past with rejection being in reverse. And remember how I said that I felt like these were connected here? I really do feel like there's going to be some situation or something being righted from the past. And it's going to like, it's like if you... It's like there's this energy of like if you were rejected or you were hurt by this situation in the past, I feel like this is kind of where things will start to work out a little bit more for you. And it's interesting, it's like I think if you go back and watch like the last couple of videos, it's like there is kind of just like a turning point that happens around here a lot. And I think even in pile 1 I referenced an invisible hanging man that was kind of in this first pile here. So there is going to be some kind of reconciliation that happens with the Six of Cups, which I feel like has been just like the word of the day. That was on my Instagram post this morning, but that's besides the point. I do feel like this is going to be a good day. It's like almost because there was this inspired action, it allows you to kind of approach this situation from a slightly higher perspective or a slightly more illuminated perspective. It's like there's all these cups right here, but because you've had this light bulb moment, which in cartoons they always show light bulbs above the head, it's like that's this thing sitting right up here with this full bouquet of flowers in it. So it's like you have this that allows this interaction to be better, where it's like even if this person, it's like their face looks a little bit like they're just like still being a little like snotty about it or something, or like maybe they don't have the best attitude about it. It's like because you have this higher perspective, it's like you can still flow through this in a slightly more harmonious way. The last card for this week, we've got the Hermit card upright with the Faith card also upright. So Hermit card is all about taking some time to reflect and turn inward in order to find this kind of hope or guiding light that allows us to progress and move forward with the rest of our journey that we know is to come. It's like we know that we're not quite here yet. We know we're not this most idealized version of ourselves, but because there is this kind of guiding light and hope that we're moving towards, it's like that's the thing that allows us to want to take the journey. With the Hermit card, there is going to be some like faith restored, or like, you're going to find just a little bit more of something that it's like there really is going to be just like, oh gosh, what is the phrase it's trying to have me say? It's like in a similar vein to hope restored, not quite balance restored, but it's almost like you're being given us like a spark back. It's like a thing that just like clicks with you and makes you feel really good and inspired and motivated and aligned. are just more kind of like, it's like you'll kind of see the thing that you're being called towards, if that makes sense. It's like you won't actualize it, but you'll see it enough to be able to have faith in. Oh, thank you. That was the card I was looking for. You'll see it enough to be able to have faith in it, to allow yourself to walk into the next phase, which right after the Hermit is the Wheel of Fortune card, which this even looks like a wheel here. So it's like this faithful action that comes after this guiding light here, that will be the thing that propels you into the Wheel of Fortune of things turning and you receiving even more of this spiritual abundance and wonderfulness. So that is your reading. That is the next week ahead for you guys, pile number 3. So if you liked this deck or this deck, these are both available on my website. I'm working on getting this one available on there as well. So keep checking back. I should have that on there very soon. If you would like a personal reading, you like the kind of channeled aspect that I do with my readings, those are also going to be available on my website, which I will link down below. So I'm going to go ahead and say my closing mantra now, and then that will close out the reading. So let's go ahead and take another deep breath together. Thank you so much, Pile 3, for allowing me to read for you and your energy today. I am now disconnecting from you, your spirit guides, benevolent beings, and entourage as I send you all back with love. As I reconnect to my own higher self spirit, spirit guides, and team, settle on down into the physical and close out the reading. And so it is.